Hello and welcome to IUPUI University Library. You can find us at ulib.iupui.edu or in 1IU by searching IUPUI University Library. On our website, you will find a list of subject librarians under Guides. There is one of us assigned to each major, but if you do not yet have a major, you can contact the librarian who is responsible for English with library questions and for research assistance. You can also contact the library for general help by phone, email, text, and chat. You can find subject and course research guides on the library homepage under Guides, Subject Guides, or Course Guides. The English W231 course guide is there, as well as in your Canvas course site on the Library Research Guide tab. This is the first of 2 tutorials for English W231. You may not have spent much time in the past thinking about your keywords, but we're going to take a few moments to do just that. Keywords are really important. They help you target the information you want in a variety of resources. Not only do they open the way to finding scholarship or written academic resources on a topic, but they also are the building blocks for your assignments. As you start to make connections between ideas and concepts, you translate them into words and begin to build your project. Dedicate an assignment page in Canvas to tracking your keywords. I will refer to this as your research journal. You will be responsible for creating and sharing this research journal with your instructor. Personally, I like to create and insert a table and treat it like a spreadsheet. I suggest making it at least 4 columns across with 5 rows. Each row will be for a unique key concept. You can also just make a numbered list of key concepts. You can pause the video now to create your research journal before I move on to talk about how to come up with keywords. The good news is you already know how to use keywords. When we sit down to do a research project, often the first thing we do is search for something on our topic in Google or another search engine. Even librarians start here sometimes. Librarians call the words you type into the search box keywords or search terms. Often, we get overwhelmed by the information we find online and sometimes choose articles out of desperation or convenience rather than the articles that help us consider other perspectives and gain new knowledge. So it's useful to pause and consider the keywords you want to use because what you put into the search box determines what you get out of a search, whether you're searching with an online search engine or in a library catalog or database. Start by identifying your research question or your assigned topic. If your instructor hasn't assigned you a topic, you can get ideas from almost anywhere, like from the news or from class reading materials. For example, I recently heard about an Indianapolis tech startup called 250 OK on the Inside Indiana Business Radio show. Some of the terms I might use to find out more about this would be email, tech, and startups. What are the main or key concepts in your research question? Can you put each key concept into a single term or a phrase? Write down 2 to 5 key concepts from your topic in your research journal. I like to write them vertically so that I have space next to each one that I can use later. After identifying 2 to 5 keywords, take a moment to think about them critically. What I mean is that you want to ask yourself if the terms you are using are going to be the most accurate and up-to-date words that people use to communicate about your topic or question. Are your keywords the same terms that scholars and researchers would use to describe the topic? If not, that is okay. But to tap into the ideas of others, you may want to try to think like them. And sometimes this requires us as researchers to use more formal and academic language than we typically do in casual conversation in order to find the information we need. Sure, sometimes these words sound dull or confusing, but language is always evolving and changing because of new knowledge and ideas from discoveries and theories. There are many tools that can help you find appropriate keywords. Dictionaries, thesauri, Google, Wikipedia, or Credo reference a library subscription database. You'll find the library subscription databases on the library homepage by clicking on the databases icon. I'll show you where this is in the next tutorial. If you aren't sure about the best term to use, do some preliminary searching in these resources that I've mentioned and write down a few synonyms or words with the same meaning or similar meaning in the horizontal space next to the first terms that you identified. Here's my example using email, tech, and startups. Feel free to add to your vertical list of key concepts too. You might just want to quit watching this video right now and Google something about your topic. Let's give that a try together and talk about why all of this I'm telling you matters and will help you. Imagine you are studying veterinary medicine and want to know how to make a cat healthy. If you search in Google using a natural language phrase like, "How do I make my cat healthy?" what you end up with is ads, websites that are clickbait, and sources that are not very credible. You may say, wait a minute, PetMD is vet authored and vet approved. Well, what if your cat's health issue is not covered in one of those top 5 tips? If you change the keywords you use to feline and medicine, you will see that the keywords you use make a big difference in your results. These results include more authoritative sources. There are links to scholarly articles, a scholarly journal, and an academic institution. If you were a student of veterinary medicine, which search results would you prefer? Now that you are a scholar, your research process needs to go beyond just natural language Google searching. Please check out the Evaluating Information Sources page in the English W231 course guide for more on choosing good sources, whether online or in databases. When you begin to do targeted research in a database, you can type out all your first key concepts in a single search box with the word "and" in all caps in between each one. You can also just type in a natural language phrase like email tech startup companies, but it's harder to track your process that way. And also, some databases do not work with Google-style natural language phrases. So let's start by using 3 keywords like email and tech and startups. If that doesn't get results or it doesn't get the results you want, try a similar search like email and technology and startups, or email communication and technology and new businesses. Swap out one term at a time to find out what makes a useful difference. If you aren't getting good results, think about whether or not it has to do with the keywords you are using. And if you're still stumped, you can always call your librarian. Research comes from a French word meaning to search again, so be prepared to spend time doing multiple searches until you hit upon some that work. Track your searches in your research journal to make sure that you don't repeat yourself. That way you can systematically work through a database without getting lost or overwhelmed. We'll talk about databases more in the next tutorial. As you go through your searches, keep track of new keywords and synonyms that you come across. To go back to our building blocks metaphor, the word "and" is like the mortar between your blocks because it connects your keywords and holds them together. Using "and" tells the database to run a specific operation, which is to retrieve results that contain all of the keywords you put in. It's like saying you want a scoop of chocolate and strawberry and vanilla ice cream. Each are unique flavors, and you want them all together in the same document. Be sure to use only keywords that represent unique concepts. In other words, don't put 2 synonyms together with "and", because an article that uses the term email probably doesn't also say electronic mail, and then you would end up with 0 results. The more terms you add on, the narrower your search will get. So I suggest you start with 2 or 3 and build up from there. If you start right away with 5 separate concepts, you may get very few or even 0 results because the probability that all your terms will appear in the same document goes down each time you add on another keyword. As you can see, using the power of "and", you can search Google Scholar, IUPUI, and even ProQuest's competitor EBSCO. In this case, I'm using EBSCO's Business Source Complete database. The "and" can be used between your keywords in a variety of search interfaces so that you can find the information that you need. As you search and research, keep your eyes peeled not only for new keywords, but for alternate spellings and other related ideas. And update your list of keywords as you go. Be sure to take the list that you started with you to class because your instructor will want to review it. In the next tutorial, we'll delve deeper into databases and I'll give you some tips and tricks. For recommended databases for professional topics, check out my course guide for English W231. Again, it's on the library homepage under Guides. The guide is also available in Canvas.